Success is the ultimate final victory in all things. Don't you want revenge on the people who didn't believe in you? Don't you want revenge on your enemies? Don't you want revenge on everybody who abandoned you? People who thought you were worth nothing and worthless? Don't you want them to finally feel the sting of regret? Don't you want them to come across your Instagram profile after a few short years, see the life you're living and the man you've become, and to hate themselves? Don't you want your exes begging? Nothing makes me happier than the girls I haven't seen in years popping up again begging for another shot. There's nothing more beautiful than them messaging you, been a while. You skank, shut up.
You can just ignore that girl. That girl who broke your heart or cheated on you, just ignore her. You're on your ascent. She is likely on her descent. She likely has no intention of improving herself, no intention of becoming better looking. Time is against her. You're going to continue your ascent, and she's going to have to watch you for the rest of her life be the man that she could have been with that she's no longer good enough for. And it's the same with also men. There's men who want to be your friends right now, who wanted to be your friend, and they did something wrong to you. And if you're on the right path, doing the right things, karma, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is going to teach them a lesson for simply failing to be a good person to you while they had the chance.
That's the revenge, gentlemen. If you're not out here becoming successful to get revenge on the people who didn't believe on you, you're a perma victim who is nothing but a prey for predators. Are you going to live 70 long years with nobody who ever wrongs you regretting that decision? You're going to be 70 years old, and everybody who ever treated you badly is going to be glad they did, because they're going to think of you as a scumbag. They're going to think, I'm glad I don't talk to him anymore. I'm glad I left that guy. I'm glad I never believed in him. And they're going to be right. And you don't have motivation to go try, so they feel some regret. You want to just be the laughing stock of everybody who's ever interacted with you ever, and you lack motivation somehow? You don't have a six-pack, big arms, a bunch of money, a Lambo. You have none of those things? And all the people who ever said you were a loser were right? Imagine that. That's how you're going to live your life as a man? It is go time. It always has been. It always will be. It's perpetual. It's never ending.
People are vengeful people. When you hear all these stupid stories of idiots or murdering their old friends, or people beating people up who owe them money, or people, attacking women who don't like them, people shooting up their school. This is a misdirected use of force. It is a misdirected use of force. The f***ing losers, and that's what they are, losers, who Andrew and I hate and do not condone. The losers who do things like shoot up their school. All right, now you're in prison for the rest of your life, or dead. You misdirected your anger. Because let me tell you something. You didn't like the football players who picked on you. You didn't like the women who rejected you. I get that you hated school, but the clean, legal, happy way to live the rest of your life in joy and get revenge is to become successful. If the skinny guy who got picked on for being whatever he is in high school somehow became a banking executive with millions of dollars and big arms and a six-pack and a luxury Maybach with a driver to drive him around in, 99% of those student athletes who made no money, all of those women who got fat and got ugly, will be like, I went to school with that guy. I once said, and I mean it, that the most interesting fact about thousands of people's lives is I once knew a man named Tristan Tate. I once knew him. I went to school with him. I dated him. He took me on a date. I had dinner with him. I was in the same pub as Tristan Tate. He grew up in my hometown. People so far detached from me that I wouldn't even be able to put a name to a face, have an interesting story in their lives. It's not their job. It's not their wife. It's not the vacation they took. It's, one time I was at Yates and Tristan Tate bought me a drink. That's it. The most interesting fact about thousands of people's lives is an interaction, a chance, brief interaction they had with Andrew Tate or Tristan Tate. And that is a good feeling. That's an extremely good feeling. I see it all the time. What's it Bison says in Street Fighter? You came to my whole village and massacred my family and you don't even remember. Chun-Li says that. He says, the day Bison graced your village with his presence will be remembered by you for all times as the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday. And that's one of the coldest quotes, I think, in movie history. And only when you become rich, important, famous, infamous, whatever it is, do you truly understand it.
only man who's a good man is a man who's been through it. We need to suffer. Look at any superhero movie. What happens to the superhero? He suffers. Batman's dad got killed. Like, it's bad shit. Then you become a superhero. You need to suffer first. So all the young boys out here who are obsessed with money, you haven't been through enough suffering. You're not important enough. You're not man enough to be rich. Because you're going to buy a Lambo and you're just going to look like a target. You're going to get shot. That's all that's going to happen to you. People don't want to shoot me because they look twice and go, might bounce off.
Do you understand there is a new level of life to unlock? Do you understand that everybody who has ever wronged you is currently laughing at you? If you don't feel like going to the gym and you don't feel like joining the real world, you don't feel like making money, let me say this to you. Everybody who ever wronged you is currently laughing at you because you are not more successful than them. They were right. Everybody is laughing at you. Behind your back, you're a man. Have some dignity. Have some honor. Stand up. Everyone is making fun of you. And the only possible revenge is success. It should be all you think about. It should be all you do. It doesn't matter who the president is. Nobody's coming. No one's going to save you. You need to do it. Yourself. Just you. By yourself. Get up and do it. Otherwise, they're going to be right. You're going to lose your youth. You're going to lose your energy. You're going to lose your chi. You're going to become an old man. You're going to sink into a chair. And you would have lived your entire life as a f***ing joke. And if that doesn't motivate you to try, if that will not motivate you to do something simple, like press buttons on a keyboard, which will affect the money in your bank, then you are born to lose.
You talk to people and they're content. They're like, oh, I'm happy with what I've got. I'm like, why? Because there's people who have a whole bunch more than you. And I was never content having a normal life. I wanted an exceptional life. I didn't want a normal car, a normal house, a normal girlfriend. I didn't want none of that. I was like, no. There's dudes out here that have the best. Why do they deserve the best and I don't deserve the best? I really believe that. And this is something I've always had inside me. I just didn't understand why I couldn't have the best stuff.
A wealthy upbringing. We come from a very poor upbringing. When we moved to England, we were in a homeless shelter for its first year as we were trying to find council housing, and we were growing a single mother council estate. Yeah. I've got every excuse everyone else has got to be a criminal asshole, and I'm not.
Yeah.
So, and people go, oh, you're lucky you can kickbox. Listen, getting up and running to this gym because my mom didn't have a car and we couldn't afford the bus, and running 4 miles, training, then running 4 miles home is not luck. You could have done that and didn't want to. So, people may meet barriers, but if you genuinely apply yourself.
Nobody, absolutely nobody, gives a fuck about you as much as you're going to have to give a fuck about yourself. Nobody cares about you as much as they need to care to fix your life. Even your parents, even your friends, even all the people who think they care about you, they care about you. Yeah, sure, there may be 2 or 3 people on the planet who genuinely care about you. But nobody is going to come to your bed, drag you out of bed, drag you to a job, force you to work hard, go and get you a hot bitch and go and buy you a Ferrari. Nobody is going to do that for you. You are never going to have any of the things you want if you do not get them yourself. Nobody cares about you enough to do it for you. This is absolutely true.
Because when you've come from the absolute bottom to the absolute top, and you've done it all off of your own back, and hard work and dedication, and never missing a day, the only shortcut to life is to never miss a day. 1, because of compounding interest, and 2, because sometimes you get lucky. And you'll never miss a lucky day if you try every day. If you don't try every day, you might miss your lucky day. And that's what people don't understand. If you never miss a day and you never don't try and you're always on time, was I late today? No, on time. And you try and improve every aspect of your life, and you're a professional, and you try and make sure that you analyze your decisions, you give yourself feedback, you don't make mistakes, you're not lazy. If you try and you make it to the top, you end up elitist because you look at the people down below and you're like, well, why didn't you try? I did. Oh, I did too. No, you didn't. That's a lot.
I remember a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago, there were women on Twitter or women on the internet saying, when men meet, do they always think about the possibility of violence? Does that cross their mind? And they were surprised by that fact. That if men we met for a podcast, but if you meet men in an unfriendly scenario or you don't know who they are, for a fraction of a second, you're thinking, can I win this fight? Are they going to attack me? It crosses our minds. We live in a very physical realm. Sure. Any man who doesn't has been polluted by the matrix and will never be competitive and is doomed to fail. But if you're truly competitive like you should be as a man, it always crosses your mind. And one of the important things about physical fitness that most people never talk about, never say, is men treat you different when they know that you'd be hard to hurt. Life treats you different. Women certainly do. That's an obvious one, right? Women like muscly guys because muscly guys can fight. Obviously, that's not the case, but that's how they look dangerous, right? But men also treat you different, which means society as a whole treats you different. I would argue that if you wanted to run any kind of company or even do sales or do anything else, let's go back to sales. Let's talk about what we were saying earlier. If I went to sell windows and I came in fantastic physical condition, the person who's buying from me, one, knows I'm disciplined, and two, knows I'm diligent. That's going to be some massive advantages from my sales perspective. Right. But also, I would argue that men are happy to look up to somebody who is physically strong in a different regard. I think it would be difficult for you to be a true leader unless you showed some degree of physical prowess. I think that's just the way the world has always worked at a deep level. When a man looks at a guy who's 6'8" and jacked, and he says, "We're going to go into battle," you're more motivated to go into battle beside him because he's 6'8" and jacked. You feel like you're going to win. You like the idea of being led by a warrior. Right. So there's that huge element to it as well. And the final part of it all is that it's so much easier to keep something than it is to gain something. And once you're in good physical shape, it's actually so easy to maintain as opposed to ever get there. It's so hard to get there that if you ever get there, you may as well just keep it. Right. It's because it's so easy to keep as opposed to lose. And I think it's in today's world, it's also a huge status symbol because we live in a world now where most things can be bought. You can buy Instagram followers and you can hire a Lambo and you can buy a hot chick to stand next to you, but you can't yet buy perfect physical conditioning. That is showing the world that you did it.
One rep at a time, it's earned.
That you have to earn it. And it's one of the few things left that has to be earned the hard way that you can't buy, which I think is also very important. We can also continue to answer this question because you're going to feel different. You feel different as a man when you know you can, and I'm a peaceful man, but when you know if things happened or if someone tried to hurt the woman next to you, you could destroy the man who's trying to do it. You feel different. There's an aura that people can smell. The woman can smell it. Predators can smell it. Maybe, perhaps, if I was built differently, I would have been treated differently in jail.
Good point. Yeah.
But everybody looked at me and they knew who I was and they thought, that's messy. Not him. It's just how humans work, right? And it's just how the whole universe works. It's how the animal kingdom works. Even lions and tigers, as fearsome as they are, go for the weakest antelope. They don't want a hard fight. They just want to eat, right?
Even mating partners. Yeah.
100%. So society is the same. I'm sure there's scenarios in my life where I've walked down a street and I've been left alone. And the person who walked behind after me a few seconds later, because he wasn't built like I was the one who got mugged. Sure, that's happened at some point in my life. But I'm the hard target. And I like feeling like the hard target. And I think that I approach life differently knowing I'm the hard target.
We were very, very poor. Me, my mother, and my brother, when we moved to England, we grew up in a homeless hostel. So I grew up at the very end of the socioeconomic ladder. I had a worse start than 99% of people. But I lived my life when I was poor, furious at the fact I was poor. Because my ego, and I'll be honest, my ego is at a point where I didn't understand how other people can afford Ferraris and I can't. I would be 18, walk into college, and a Ferrari would drive past, and it would ruin my week. And everyone would be like, "What's wrong with you?" I'd be like, "Don't you see? This fat fuck can buy a Ferrari and I can't. Why? He's not a better man. He's not a better person than me. I'm just as good as him, if not better." I couldn't stand the fact that there are people who could do things I couldn't. So this gave me unlimited motivation to get rich. Now I found a way to get rich, and I believe that anyone who really, really, truly wants to get rich will get rich, one way or another.
I always knew the answer to everything is raw action.
Yeah.
The answer to everything has always been raw action. My dad had a tweet about this. He said that raw action solves all. And he used to say this. I'll give you an example. If you're a farmer and you need rain for your crop and there's no rain, you can sit there and say there's no rain, we're all going to starve. Or you can stand up and do a rain dance. Now, will your rain dance work? Perhaps not. Perhaps the rain won't come. But I would argue that you're better off standing up doing that rain dance than just sitting there waiting to die. You have to do something. Raw action solves. So when I was broke, I was never like, I'm poor, what do I do? It was, I'm poor, I have to do something. If I was broke, I'd go for a run. That's why I was such a great fighter. If I was broke, I'd sit there and go, I'm actually poor. How do I make money? Don't know. Where can I get some cash? Don't know. What work can I do? Don't know. I'll just go for a run then. And I just go for 3 mile run.
And what the? You need to sit there and realize, whoa. I have a few years of consciousness. And even less than that, I have a few short years as a young man. Because age will damage you. I mean, if you're a millionaire when you're 60, it's not nearly as good as being a millionaire at my age. I became a millionaire at 28. So you need to realize you've got a few short years as a young man. You're wasting it.
What's the definition of a loser?
I think the universe is absolutely and utterly giving. I've never seen anybody dedicate themselves to something completely and fail. I've never seen somebody eat right, go to the gym every day, train really hard, and not. I've literally never seen it. The universe is extremely giving. If you actually try and you actually want it and you're actually not making excuses, lying, talking shit, you're going to get what you want. So when I see people who don't have what they want, I consider them losers. And this may be elitist. I understand that. But if I put myself through endless pain to end up where I am, it's very hard for me to have sympathy on the man who's through pain. You're avoiding pain. I've been through endless. I now have everything I've ever desired. You have none of the things. Am I supposed to feel sorry for you? You're way out. Am I supposed to look at you and go, oh, poor dude? No. You were a fucking coward. You didn't go through the shit I went through. You didn't put it on the line. So you deserve your substandard reality. That's what you deserve. You're a fucking loser. Because if you actually wanted it and you actually tried, you'd have it. You could have anything you want. Universe is super giving. You want a fucking Ferrari, you can have it. You want that bitch, you can have her. You can have anything you want on the planet. There's not a girl I look at that I want that I can't have. Not one. That's my reality. There's not a car I can't have. There's not a house I can't buy. If I want to go to a yacht, if I want to go to Antarctica, there's nothing I can't have. Bam. Because I've decided to become this man. It's the same for absolutely every single one of you at home. If you want it, you can have it. If you're sitting there saying, oh, but I tried my best and I still didn't get it, you're lying. You didn't try your best. That is a fucking lie. The universe gives it to everybody. Try.
So what's the main thing that you want to get across to the world?
My main message is to resist the slave market. I think this all the time. To understand that every single thing that we're told has an agenda behind it, and we're told otherwise. To examine every strongly held belief we have, try to identify where it comes from and why it matters. I sit and argue with people, I discuss things, they so fervently believe a point. I say, why do you believe that so much? Like, do you have personal experience? No, but I saw the news. Why do you believe? The news told you X, and now you are desperate. You will sit here for hours arguing that point. A lot of people are completely empty vessels ready to be programmed. And I try and tell people, listen, to just stop for a second and understand that the things they're telling you to believe are not necessarily for your benefit. People who make the rules don't make the rules for the benefit of everybody. They make the rules for the benefit of people who make the rules.
Yeah.
Okay. So, telling people to resist a slave mind and just be critical thinkers, keep their brain open, pay attention to things, be perspicacious. That's the general thing. And it doesn't matter whether you're left, right, liberal, man, woman, except that's just think for yourself.
I always knew the answer to everything is raw action.
Yeah.
The answer to everything has always been raw action. My dad had a tweet about this. He said that raw action solves all. And he used to say this. I'll give you an example. If you're a farmer and you need rain for your crop and there's no rain, you can sit there and say there's no rain, we're all going to starve. Or you can stand up and do a rain dance. Now, will your rain dance work? Perhaps not. Perhaps the rain won't come. But I would argue that you're better off standing up doing that rain dance than just sitting there waiting to die. You have to do something. Raw action solves. So when I was broke, I was never like, I'm poor, what do I do? It was, I'm poor, I have to do something. If I was broke, I'd go for a run. That's why I was such a great fighter. If I was broke, I'd sit there and go, I'm actually poor. How do I make money? Don't know. Where can I get some cash? Don't know. What work can I do? Don't know. I'll just go for a run then. And I'd just go for 3 mile run or go hit the punch bag and get better.
This resonates so deeply, man. This is exactly what I did.
That's exactly. You just have to say, well, I have to do something. I can't just sit still and die. A lot of people are happy to just sit still and die or jerk off and go to sleep and take a nap. Well, if that's what you want to do, then you can say a loser. That's fine. I'm glad there are losers, because if everyone had Lamborghinis, my Lamborghini wouldn't be fun to show off. I need you to look at it and feel the deep pain in your heart of regret and failure. That's the whole point of it. I need to drive my Bugatti and everyone be looking at it going,
I'll never have one of those. And I can get all their energy and feel it all, and it makes me happy. Fantastic. So you can sit at home and do nothing, but when I was poor, I had to go for a run. I couldn't sit still or lift weights or do something. I couldn't even sleep. So raw action solves everything. And I understood that at a young age. But as you get older, you get to look back and you get to put your whole story together, the whole tapestry together. I knew I wouldn't stay poor. Did I ever think I'd get this rich? Well, I never said I wouldn't, but did I ever think it would probably happen at this level? No. But it's amazing how the compounding interest of just endless raw action adds up. I've never had a lazy day. I've never skipped work, never missed an email, never had a day off, ever. You name if you were to go through the last 3 years of my life, you will see that there's never been a day where I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. And it all just adds up, and then monumental success comes, and you get to laugh at everybody else, ha ha ha, and life's great. But I really believe God's given me one of the best lives, and I can't complain about anything bad that's happened. It's all been fantastic.